Chapter 7. The little boy was not afraid. He trusted his father. They both paddled furiously. The smaller blue boat moved quickly through the ocean waves toward the shore of the new land. The little boy only looked over his shoulder once to see what was happening behind them. He saw the little girl send the 2 great white owls up into the sky again. He saw their mother cover the ship and the animals with the sails. He saw the dragons come shrieking after them. The little boy redoubled his efforts to paddle as quickly as he could. He matched his father's powerful strokes. The blue boat hurtled forward. He could hear the dragons' screams as they descended. The sun had already set by the time they reached shore. The darkness of the night was beginning to descend as well. The little boy and their father knew they only had a matter of moments when they reached shore. The 2 white owls streaked past them, just as the blue boat hit the sand. The 2 great white owls hurtled toward the line of the trees, but the little boy did not follow them. He hoped they would be able to hide safely once they were in the treetops. Their father and the little boy pulled the blue boat ashore quickly and dragged it onto the beach. They turned it upside down and hid beneath it. Their plan was to hide from the dragons to draw them away from their mother, the little girl, and the animals aboard the ship. They knew that they could not hide beneath the blue boat permanently. The dragons would eventually burn the blue boat to a crisp, but they needed time. They would race toward the cover of the trees once the dragons had made their first pass above them. Their father and the little boy listened as well as they could once they were safely under the overturned blue boat. They heard the cries of the dragons and the other creatures as they approached them. The screeches, screams, and croaks were loud. They filled the night air. But then the little boy heard something else. Something unexpected. He heard yells in a language he'd never heard before, from someplace behind them. Then he heard hundreds of whooshes and more yells. He heard howls moments later. More yells, and more sounds of some sort of fighting. He tried to peer out from beneath the boat. His father pulled him back. "Not yet," he said. "We must wait to see what is happening." The howls of the dragons and the other creatures began to fade away. Something had happened on the beach. Something the little boy did not understand. The dragons and the other creatures had met something, or someone, when they'd come to attack them under the blue boat. The little boy could tell from the raucous screams of the dragons and other creatures that they were going inland, away from the ocean. The little boy did not know where they might be going, but he knew that they were not going out to sea, back to the ship that was now sailing toward them under the cover of darkness. Their mother, the little girl, and the animals would be able to sail safely to the sandy beach so the animals could come ashore. The little boy and his father began to ease the blue boat upright again. Everything was silent all around them. They were alone on the beach. The dragons were gone. They had gone somewhere. Whatever had met them as they swept ashore was gone as well. The little boy listened as hard as he could. He was met with silence. All he could hear was the flutter of leaves as a gentle breeze swept through the nearby trees. "What were they?" the little boy asked his father. "I do not know," his father said. "But whoever they were, they have saved us from the dragons. Whatever they did, it scared them and forced them to fly away." The little boy stepped away from the blue boat and stared at the forest that spread out in both directions in their new land. There were no lights to see anywhere, for as far as the eye could see, no fires were burning anywhere. As far as they knew, they were alone in this new land. But the little boy knew, in his heart, that they were not alone. Something had saved them from the dragons. Someone had met their fierce charge and had turned them aside. The little boy began to walk along the shore. He stepped on something in the darkness. There was a sharp crack beneath his feet. He reached down to see what he had stepped on. It was a wooden arrow.